Hey everyone. So I just wanted to do a quick video here just to talk about how you can prepare for a water fast in a way that means that you're not really hungry or really struggling. So what I typically do in the week leading up to a water fast is I will eliminate carbohydrates. So if you drink alcohol at all, you want to, or I certainly will, eliminate alcohol in the week leading up to. I also like to reduce the carbohydrates that I'm eating in that week. And then, like in the couple of days before I start a fast, I will completely eliminate carbohydrates. So today, I'll give you an example of what I had for breakfast. So this morning, I had scrambled eggs with cheese and mushrooms on a bed of spinach. So that's what I had for breakfast. And then my evening meal was fried courgettes, mushrooms, and onions and peppers with some minced beef that I had cooked up, and then also a side salad with dressing. So it was a nice big meal, but it was no carbohydrates. And I just want to share a little bit about why I do that. And the reason is because what we want is for our body to start burning fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. So our default is carbohydrates. So your body will burn carbohydrates as long as you have any glucose or at all in your system. It will burn carbohydrates instead. Now, the reason it's good to transition off of that before you start a fast is that if you go from eating carbohydrates as normal to eating nothing, then you'll find that you'll really feel really hungry and really irritable, stuff like that. Whereas if you can transition off of carbohydrates earlier, before you start your fast, then it means that your body starts to burn fat as fuel instead of carbohydrates before you actually stop eating. So it actually helps that transition so that it's just much smoother, and you end up not actually feeling physically as hungry because fats are much more satisfying. So your body transitions to burning fat for fuel, and if you do that before you start fasting, then the hard part is kind of out of the way. So that's a major tip and major key that I've discovered in doing fasting, and I will share some more of these tips, but that's a big one. So get yourself off of carbohydrates or lower your carbohydrate intake in the week leading up to a water fast, and then you want to completely eliminate carbs except for like vegetable carbohydrates. So like I mentioned, I had courgettes and mushrooms and sweet peppers, like bell peppers. And so there's a little bit of carbohydrates in those vegetables, but very little. So when I say no carb, I mean no fruit, no bread, no rice, no pasta, no potatoes, no starchy vegetables. So no corn, nothing too sweet, nothing too starchy. So you want to try and get rid of carbohydrates as much as possible. And you don't want to have a huge amount of protein either. So you want to go higher on the fat, and you want to go super low on the carbohydrates and lower on the protein. The reason is because if you have a lot of protein, your body actually has a mechanism where it can translate or sort of transfer protein into glucose. It has a mechanism to sort of do that exchange process that is a shortcut that it will take instead of turning on your fat burning engine, which actually takes a lot more work from your body's metabolism. You get a lot of energy from it, but your body will always burn carbohydrates as a default rather than your stored body fat. So yeah, so that's what I've done. It's called ketosis. I'm sure many of you have heard about the ketogenic diet. I'm sorry for my camera shaking. I need to get a proper tripod thing so I can just sit here and talk. But yeah, so that's what I've done. So this is the last day before I've started my fast. I've started drinking more water. I have eliminated carbohydrates and just a higher fat in the few days before the fast. And tomorrow morning I will start with just water, black tea, black coffee. But although I only really normally have 1 cup of coffee in the morning, because if you're not eating, it gets to be too much really quick. So you'll notice if you look at my face that I'm a little bit flushed. So that's just because my blood sugar is dropping because I haven't had any carbohydrates in a few days. So that's normal, that's good. And it just indicates that my body is already making that transition to burning fat. So when I stop eating tomorrow, it won't be as bad. Although I will be hungry short term, it won't be super, super bad. Whereas if I had been eating loads of carbs leading right up to it, then it makes it really hard. So one of the reasons why I recommend water fasting rather than like a juice fast or something like that is because if you're on a juice fast that's, you know, like fruit juices, for example, your body's getting a big hit of carbohydrates when you drink those juices, even though you're not having a lot of calories. So maybe you're having, you know, 800 calories a day or something, but in juice form, your body gets all of those calories from carbohydrates and then doesn't really want to switch over to the burning fat for fuel mechanism. So it sends out these hunger signals to you constantly because it's like, you're not eating enough food, you're not eating enough food. You know, I don't have enough fuel, I don't have enough fuel. So you'll feel hungry and super irritable. Whereas if you go water only or no calories, which is what I mean by water only really, then what happens is your body transitions into burning fat for fuel, and I've got spared body fat, which your body will just then use as energy. So that's actually the purpose of body fat. I don't know if you guys know that, but the reason we have body fat is so that we have stored energy for a rainy day. You know, it's this mechanism that God made so that we have energy when we can't find food. And so, you know, if we were living in ancient times and we're living in the winter and we can't get food anywhere, it means that you can survive. So that's why we have that ability. So this is the last day before the fast. The fast starts tomorrow. So stay tuned for more.